Class was awesome, in case you were wondering. All right. All right, I'm gonna get started. So, problem number one is we have this massive red block here in the sort of sub solver inside of this route diagram. So, yeah, basically where we're at, we want to order the first TS circuit. I undid all the traces, but we have like one trace kind of being bad. um, and the reason it's being bad has something to do with this massive block. And so debugging why that block is showing up in the trace solver will basically allow us to move forward. there's no way without that trace that the circuit will work. So, but it shouldn't be too bad. So one thing that kind of sucks is it looks like it doesn't save the view box, but it was like something like 2020 and then -10, -10, something like that. And yeah, for whatever reason, I'm trying to think what it is. It would be awesome if we knew if it was the battery or not causing it. It's probably the first thing I'll look at. Since the batteries seem to introduce this problem, we can do that and then run the route solver again. I don't know why the battery would cause that. One reason it might is because the schematic box thing is like a tiny bit new. I think I was using schematic lines for everything prior to that, so it's possible that that's causing the issue. So yeah, figure it out. I can already tell. Let's close this. Oh. I'm trying to think, how was I getting this output earlier? I think I was running. Yeah, I think I was running this temporary file directly. And then I modified the builder to give us a little bit of extra output. So yeah, let's run that. There's our output. That's the solver. And I can already tell because of how quickly that executed that we're not gonna have a problem. And then for some reason, the browser is like not, or my Linux is not handling clipboard properly within warp. So we're gonna manually copy this out. Okay. Thing is, this doesn't really look like the output I was expecting. That looks like the soup. That's like what you get. Is it not? Oh, because that trace is connected to a battery. I think it doesn't have to solve that trace if a battery isn't there. That's kind of tough. Okay, so another way to do this is we just remove the schematic box. So uncomment both of these batteries and then run that same command. I might have lost track of. Okay, now it's taking forever. So we've replicated. It's getting frozen up. So let's remove the schematic box. That'd be awesome if we could hack around this. No, that's not doing it. It's still taking forever. Let's try removing like everything. Schematic text, schematic box. The only thing there is the SMT pad. I think I also remembered the SMT pads were somehow causing part of this. So tricky. Okay, so now it's fast. Seems like those SMT pads, maybe that makes sense actually if the SMT pads are accidentally making their way into the schematic as an obstacle. Talk about a weird problem. But yeah, that could check out. So the SMT pads are being like, yeah, they're becoming like that red block is an SMT pad essentially. That could totally make sense. So basically prior to being passed into the route solver, you derive the schematic, the obstacles, which are the red blocks, using this method. So if schematic component, we're going to do this. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if our schematic component width is getting mixed up. So this is going to be too hard to read, but this is the right data. The question is, those batteries, do they have schematic width defined by the PCB parts of the board? Obviously not correct. It's going to be really hard to read this output. I'm like scanning. There is kind of like a control F tool in here that might work. I don't know. Might not be worth it. I really wish I had like a proper soup viewer. There is like on debug.tscircuit.com there is like a nice table view that you can use. So there are definitely tools I can throw this into. I think I go to schematic, and yeah, and I have this nice table. If I could look at this table, it would be really easy to debug. We would see that the component there is just, you know, broken or whatever. I could, okay, so here's an idea. Build out a UI feature that lets you send it to the debug website, and then I would get this nice table. I could also just add this table directly to the developer UI. This is the developer UI, like almost like a button up here, or yeah, I guess I wrote debug mode. So I don't know what this was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to like make every view more verbose, but I could do kind of an alternate view that's like, yeah, you can look at the soup. I mean, that's a good idea. It's good capital, so to speak. I don't know where that table component exists. That's a lot to figure out. But I think when you hit a bug like this and it's really, really hard to debug, it's probably best to break it down. I could also probably try to solve it. Like if it's really the schematic component, if my hunch that it's the schematic component width is correct, then I think you would look inside the component builder and you would try to see how that schematic component width is created. So like, I mean, in this case, it kind of looks like it's generically set at 1 and 1, but that doesn't really check out with what we're seeing where it's like huge. Maybe it's recomputed somewhere else. Schematic component dot width or dot size. Yeah, okay. So it's set to schematic spatial bounds dot w. Get spatial bounds from spatial elements. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's filtering properly. So schematic spatial bounds, get spatial bounds, transform schematic elements. Oh, it does say transform schematic elements. And this should only be pulling from schematic elements. Yeah. So schematic elements, schematic symbol builder. Yeah. That does seem like, yeah, so maybe it is best to look at the soup and see what's going on. Yeah, it's, you know, taking a step back. I really want to order today, but you know, you can't always rush it. Got to figure out what this big block is. So let's see, what is the right order here? I'm gonna close some stuff just to keep things simple. Let's close out the routing stuff for now. We might need it, but I don't want to have too much running because I don't have a GPU yet and my computer struggles. So let's see. So this is going to be in the UI. The first thing we're going to want to do whenever we are building the UI is start the dev server in dev mode. It's always a dev server, so there's no, like, you know, it's for developers to develop, so a little bit confusing, but start dev server dev. Open up Firefox. And then let's open it up. And let's get a circuit uploaded if there's not already. I might have some stuff already loaded in the database here. Yeah, it looks like I have something loaded in the database. So we'll continue using this, and we'll try to get a soup view working for this. So you can see, I think I won't put it up here. It'll be like a secret mode that you have to go to the view menu for because it's going to be so uncommon. So let's go to the header menu, and we'll start by adding that option. So I should see something like PCB. Split view, and then we'll do soup view. Kind of looks weird, the word soup relative to all these things. Split view, soup. All right. I like to expose the underlying details, though. I think it doesn't backfire as much as people think. People are like, "Oh, mask it for simplicity," but I think as long as you present it, you know, you tuck it away in such a way and you put effort into it, I think it's okay. I have no idea why I have like features like this, like so soon. So that works if I select it and it doesn't break anything. So I think we just have to populate the whatever renders that view out. So I don't really know. Example content view. That sounds right. Yeah, so based on the view mode, it's rendering out something. So that table is sweet. I definitely want to use the exact same table and all the features of it. It's a really, really sweet table. I wish it was easier to import, but I think it's got some garbage import process. It's contained within the schematic viewer right now, which is really annoying. So we're gonna try to pull it out of the schematic viewer, which I guess I have to clone. So all of these projects can be run. They all have like storybooks and ways to test them and stuff like that. But I think in this case, I just kind of need to explore. Let's see. There should be, yeah, schematic component. That should be the main schematic component, right? What is this library export? Index, export star from schematic. So this is the main component, and then it should take a property, something like show table. Hopefully that's all nice and isolated into its own nice thing. So yeah, we have a table viewer here. So there's kind of two ways I can go about this. One is to create a new NPM module for the table viewer, which is pretty conventional, soup table viewer or something like that. It's probably the right approach. I think that's the least regrettable. I could also do stuff with the CLI, but the CLI doesn't currently have a storybook or anything like that. So I think we'll bootstrap a project, move the table viewer over to it. And I don't think it's that complicated. Lazy table viewer. Oh, it's already isolated. TS circuit table viewer. Tons of errors in this project. Is it just because I need to install? Soup table viewer. It's imported so weird, I don't really know how to look at it. All right, let's take a look at what the table viewer is. I don't know if we need any of this. We already have a table viewer. Yeah, okay. Oh wow, it's got usage and everything. This is why you got to put things into separate modules. I'll always surprise myself with how well something I made a long time ago was documented. Okay, cool. Let's do it. A lot easier. I'm glad I thought to do this thing that I thought would take a while, because this just made it a lot easier. Let's do bun add ts circuit / table viewer. And then we'll try to import the table viewer. And I think it has, I said it had something with some weird dependency. I think we have to deal with that too. You have to import this style sheet or else it won't be styled properly. I'm going to leave it out for now just because if I don't have to, that'd be awesome. But I think I will. Okay, soup table viewer. Okay, so how do the rest of these work? If view mode, yeah, okay, so package and view mode equal to, oh, it's not in the types as a view mode yet. Soup. It'd be also cool to have like a split soup thing, but I'm not worried about that. There's frameworks where you can kind of construct an IDE and have draggable windows and all of that. So I think it's more like something I would do at that point. I don't know why it would fail, but I'll keep it. Height, item height, sure. It's saying that it doesn't need height. Failed to render soup, okay. Let's remove the error boundary so that we know what's going on. Why it's erroring. Elements is undefined. Elements is undefined. Yeah, it takes elements. So elements. I'm just going to add this back temporarily because I think there might be an initial render issue. No. There's a lot of errors. Okay. Well, we know it doesn't take height, so that's fine. I'm pretty confused by this. Let's clone this repo and see what's going on. Maybe I do need to see some of that usage. Okay, so table viewer, open that up. Stories, example. Okay, so that looks good. That's just normal soup. It's basically what I did here. Whoa, too many workspaces. All right. Can I give it an empty array? Oh, okay, so it doesn't complain too much if I give it an empty array. Also, very regrettably in dark mode. I don't think that goes well with the UI, but right now I do just want to debug, so I'm fine with it. Just trying to think if I understand what the shape of this package is, because it doesn't have a type. So it's possible it's not an array. We could do this just to avoid a bad render. It seems to not like the soup. That looks fine. Objects are not valid as React's child. It's weird that it works with just one element. Let's take all the stuff from this story and paste it in. So that fails. I think it might be if you give it any element, it'll fail because of some kind of like React compatibility issue or something. We could try putting in just one element. Sorry, I keep going to the wrong workspace. All right. Yeah, even with one element, it doesn't render. As soon as you give it an element, it's gonna fail. And I think it's this thing. Objects are not valid as React child. So I don't know. Let's try running Storybook on this guy. Maybe we'll be able to figure it out. I gotta organize this workspace a little. There we go. Works fine over here. It's super searchable, right? You can just do like resistor. It's really cool. That's why I want it. It's pretty dense too, which I like. And you can click the JSON. You can see the whole JSON. So it's basically perfect. I don't want to have to rebuild this, even if it does require some weird CSS stuff. The thing that's tricky is they're not really giving us any way to locate where the bug is. And it's built with source map and everything. So there's really no reason why this shouldn't be giving us really, really nice data. Render cell, columns. It might be a dependency issue where some of the dependencies are more up to date than others or something like that. It's got to be in here, the React data grid component. And that's where the dark theme comes from, apparently. React data grid. Huh. It is using like kind of a beta version, it looks like. Let's see what the most recent version is. This was released 3 months ago, so maybe we upgrade this dependency. Can't be too bad. Oh, this looks great. Wow. This is a great library, React data grid. Oh, love it. Okay. They're still on beta. They've released a lot more beta versions, but they're still on this high beta. That's really tricky without a trace. How am I supposed to figure out what the issue is? It's like some buried React thing. Some empty object is getting rendered. So it looks like how this works is the elements go through a lot of stages of filtering. So that's why you have like elements 1, elements 2, elements 3. And then you have all this stuff on how it renders the headers to enable filtering. But yeah, there's the different filter steps. Really do not want to have to recreate this. There is this peer dependency here, so I wonder where that's imported, because that could be part of it. It's just for types. Yeah. Interesting. Let's do npm ls react data grid. What version do we have? We don't have a matching version. It's the released version. It's on Canary 49. So that could be it. React data grid beta 37. Why wouldn't it hit install the same version? Also with TS up. Okay, so another option. I'm gonna have to test this, but I could build it and bundle React data grid. That would actually be kind of nice. So the size is 29.9 kilobytes. And then if I move this from dependencies to dev dependencies, which is totally fine because it's not going to get deduped. So this is definitely, I don't see any downside of this. So 29.9 and now it's 317. So that's a huge module, but you know, 317, who cares? React JSON tree, like theoretically something else could use that. I'd almost bundle everything at this point, but yeah, let's try releasing with that bundled version so that we don't have to deal with some weird versioning issues, because it seems like NPM doesn't resolve very well when you have these beta versions and all that. Yeah, okay, so I'll increment a release. To authorize. I hope I have the right owner. Let's see. npmjs.org/package/tscircuit/table viewer. I might have gotten the path wrong. Let's try this. tscircuit/table viewer. Who's the owner? I think I'm the owner. Let me publish. Need auth. npm login. All right, let me do this off screen. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, this is a new computer, so I wouldn't be logged in. That's right. Okay, so we're gonna publish version 7. Hopefully that works. Okay, cool. And then over here, we'll install version 7. I'm going to specify it manually so it doesn't use a cache or anything like that. And then maybe just because I don't trust the... Yeah, there we go. Okay. Wow. A lot of effort, but now it's working. The reason it looks so bad is I think, although it did kind of work before, it looked normalish, but I think it's because you have to import this React data grid thing. Maybe it was being like implicitly imported or something. Anyway, I'm gonna add it. Let's see, React data grid. It's gonna give me some random version, but hopefully the styles still work the same. Missing lib styles. Okay, let's get this specific version. Oh, React data grid, so much potential. All right. Copy this. Whew. This no copy and pasting is killing me. All right. Beta 37. Okay. Should be there now. Let's see if autocomplete helps us out. No, nothing. It should be there. Node modules, React data grid. It just straight up didn't. Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. I wonder how much I installed to the wrong directory. Let's get everything up to date. Table viewer at 0.0.7, and then React data grid at 7.0.0 beta 37. Okay. And then we'll go back up and run our dev server. There we go. Okay. I think it's finally working as I would expect. So now let's load in. That's such a crazy issue, right? But you know, bundling is a good solution. That's why you bundle. Or well, it's a good reason to bundle anyway. I don't like how I have to re-import the style sheet, but I don't know what to do about that. Like, they have to fix that at the library level. It's a limitation. I could like make a hook that does it for them, or something like that. Or I could just have it on a global URL and inject the style tag or something like that. So there's lots of things I could do, but should really be handled at a library level. All right. So in our example content view, yeah, we've got the console log. Let's remove that. We don't need it. Let's go to our elements, package, TS circuit soup. Hopefully that works. Nice. Okay, cool. So, wow, I do not like this theme though. It just does not blend in with the user interface. Also, the height is not calibrating. So maybe very quickly, since we know we can publish this and it'll work, maybe we quickly make this a little bit more friendly to the user. I think probably a Boolean like light mode is good. Let's see. So right now it only takes elements. Let's give it height as an optional parameter, and then let's give it light mode. Yeah, light, or um, maybe appearance, and we'll have this be optional, dark, or light. Okay. So I saw the height is just set to 1000, so we'll do height is height, or 1000, or props.height, or whatever. This is such a long function. Okay, so elements, and then I'll call the rest of these props. Yeah. And for this one, props.appearance is equal to light. Then we'll do RDG light, otherwise black. Cool. Okay. Increment the version, and then we'll do a publish. It's gonna make me do 2-factor. Cool. As the sun comes up, my green screen is slowly failing. Oh, maybe I made it worse. Uh-oh. Let's mess around with this for 5 seconds. Video capture. It's kind of fun. I spent like 10 minutes trying to figure out what like chroma key values to use or whatever, because you use the wrong ones and all of a sudden you're like transparent or you go too far. So like I can increase similarity. Yeah, that seems to work. All right, let's do that. Oh, but I'm kind of invisible at the bottom now. Oh yeah, I'm kind of not so visible. So yeah, let's do this. I think that's better. Yeah, I'll take it. Okay, back to it. All right, so version 8, we can now add this. Table viewer version 8. And then we will now give this the height so it properly adjusts. And then we're also going to say appearance equals light. I think this has like a cached thing going on. There we go. Oh, that looks bad though. Why does that look so bad? It must be because I gave like a custom blue to these things. I don't even know. I think I'd have to play with this for a little bit to get it to look decent. So maybe I just set it to dark for now and just deal with it. So all right, we did that. So yeah, let's commit that up to the CLI. That's pretty good. I think yeah, that looks good. All the changed files. I didn't change anything in the wrong place. So add soup view. It's a pretty good feature. Hopefully that gets pushed out. It might not. If I broke types or something like that. Oh, I should add the error boundary in here. Whoops. Add error boundary for soup render. Okay, so that should be released. We can use it right away. So now we should be able to do tsci2 dev on our, whoops. Okay, it's freezing up, so it's not giving me the option to open the browser. So maybe we remove the problematic trace, or we can wait for it because it does seem to eventually work. It just has to use all my computer's resources first. Maybe? Yeah, it eventually worked. Yeah, it took 32 seconds. And then it errored after 32 seconds. Wow, that's a really bad message too. Oh, that's unfortunate. I forgot to build this server properly, so we have to do, this is automatically done on CI, but since I'm not on CI, I have to do it here. So that'll build out the web app so that it's actually bundled inside of the CLI. Okay. So 30 seconds for that, and hopefully we can see the soup after. I wonder what this error is. It's so cryptic. If we don't get any soup, we're going to be in trouble because I won't be able to figure out what the big red square is. If it never renders. Oh, it says it couldn't soupify now. We have a log though. Let's open that up. Okay, calling internal route solver. Calling internal route solver. So lots of that. What's the last thing it did? I think this is prior to a call. Actually, I don't know what this is. That looks like the soup. That looks like it finished. Maybe the problem is now that I'm logging in the builder, you're not really supposed to log in the builder, and I think what it's doing is messing up the output, which is taken directly. So yeah, I should have anticipated that. So we'll do deeper clean. Give me a lot of messages there. Could not resolve dependency. I don't know what that's about. Let's see if that fixes things though. Still should take 30 seconds, but I don't think we'll get the same error we got last time. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can see the crazy trace now. So it's actually completing it, but it's going all the way around. So it does look like it's centered on this bug, but my suspicion is the batteries are involved. So let's look at the soup and figure out why our giant red block is being put there. Oh, there's still no soup view. What's going on? I just had to refresh harder. Okay. So we know it's probably a schematic component because only schematic components and ports can create obstacles. So these are the two for the bugs. I don't see one for the battery, which is kind of interesting, but maybe it doesn't get one. Okay, width 1, 2.5, that's fine. Width 1, 2.5, nothing weird there. None of these look like they have crazy large widths or heights. It's possible it's a port. Wow, I didn't expect that. Okay. My hunch was incorrect. There's a lot of schematic ports, so that's not going to be very fun to look through all of them. And also, they don't have a width or height. It's like fixed. Hmm. Well, this is nuts. What is doing this? It's definitely something really dumb. Wow. All right. Let's dig in.
One day.
All right, I'm getting back to it. Yeah, do you want to hit the fan over there to get some airflow in this room, especially if the door's shut? Actually, let's open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I turn the fan?
I think so. Yeah. All right. It's not this bug that's so center stage. Man, this is crazy. I think what I want to do is open up the builder and just take another look at that obstacle code and see what's going on. It just doesn't make sense to me that you would get such a big obstacle without any error in the JSON for the soup. So we want to go to the schematic obstacles. Oh, this is kind of interesting. It says parent elements here. Oh, wait a second. Parent elements. That means it is actually looking at every element. Oh, that's super easy. So yeah, it is interpreting things outside of the... So all you have to do is filter this out to only schematic elements. Dot type dot starts with schematic. I think that'll fix that. It's such an easy fix. I don't even know if I want to reproduce with inside of a test because like that's just how it should be. Surprised it didn't come up earlier. That should fix it. So I think what I'll do, I definitely feel like I should test it. I'm going to use Yalk. So I'll do an npm run build. And then I'll do a Yalk publish. Like that. So what that'll do is give me a local version I can test in this project. So Yalk add ts circuit / builder. And then we should be able to test it. Still taking a while, so I don't know. Either my publish failed or... Oh yeah, actually, now that I think about it, it doesn't really matter. Does it matter if you add it? So this project is loading the builder, but I think that's right. It can get confusing because you have the CLI also doing stuff on its end, but I think it's gonna load this builder, so that should work. It's worrying it's taking so long though. This is the, I think this is the CLI. This is where I was modifying the CLI, so I'm gonna shut this. This is where I was modifying the table viewer, so I shouldn't need this either. Okay. Now we've cleaned up. We could do a quick confirmation. Yeah, that doesn't look like it changed anything. You can see it's still routing this big thing. Let's try this. Let's try saying, just like give it an empty array, which should mean that there's no schematic obstacles, just to confirm that we're actually using the builder. So npm run build, and then yelk publish, and then we'll yelk add it. You can actually do yelk push, and that should automatically update it over here. Okay, and then we'll rerun. Yeah, so that time it only took a second, so it's definitely using our version, but we didn't resolve the issue. Somewhere in this soup, there's an element that's huge. I really need a way to be able to search this for the width of a component. It's gonna be a PCB component or a schematic component. It's pretty wide. That's pretty wide. The simple diode. That's too wide, I think. That's way too wide. That's fine though. That's also fine. These are the bugs. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, nice. Oh, I think I didn't realize that these guys get like a different ID, so I messed it up. It's definitely the bug. And however it's being set up, it gets this massive height. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I still think this fix is probably valid. Oh no, it does go through the types here. Okay, so that this fix was pointless. So the real issue is when we create the bug for the battery, or the component for the battery, the size of it is huge, and it doesn't make sense why it's so big. Something with... I wonder if it's incorporating this when it computes the size. That's the only thing that would explain why it would suddenly get so big when I added the SMT pads. So this one we can keep the same. Us and parent elements, that's fine. But then in the schematic symbol builder, I think, where we compute the size, that's where we're going to have to adjust things. Build, add. Yeah, this doesn't have anything to compute its size. Schematic spatial bounds, get spatial bounds. Oh yeah, I was looking at this a little bit earlier. Get spatial bounds from spatial elements, and then transform schematic elements. And this one should only be looking at schematic elements, but maybe it's not. Built ports. I think when you build ports, it might contain both schematic and PCB elements. Ah. This is such an unusual problem because most EDA software doesn't kind of combine the schematic and PCB stage. This one is combined by default. You separate explicitly out. Yeah, this PCB port, it is added in here. And then I think somewhere else it's matched. But really this should really only be the schematic port that's picked up. So I think that's it. So the PCB port somewhere else, yeah, during the matching, it's matched with the pad. And then the size is incorporated. Yeah, so build ports, build port dot type is equal to schematic port. Okay. Yeah, that was a tricky bug. Let's push up this version. So we'll build, do Yelk push. And then we'll see if we still have the same bug. Okay, it should be there. TSCI2 dev. Okay, that went pretty quick. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. Let's add in all the things we removed, and then we'll push up the new version of the builder. But let's confirm that this is all hunky-dory first. No element for selector found. For B2 positive, that should be there. No elements found for B2 positive. Let's try rebuilding. These errors don't stack very well. No elements found for B2 pos. Battery. Center, B2 negative B1. I don't know. I think that should work. It was also working earlier. I might have typoed somewhere. LED left. Oh yeah, the LED is removed. I think I might just need to backtrack a little bit. Let me look at the diff. Oi, I think I committed too quickly and I probably removed some good code because the problem was never with the actual circuit definition. It was always with the other modules. Let's go to the history here. Okay, update battery with footprint. That seems good. So I think I committed, but probably didn't push. Yeah, okay, so all right, a couple things to do to clean this up. So first, let's remove this test because that test never worked. Okay, so fix SMT pads sometimes causing schematic tracing to get messed up. So that'll push out a new version. I'll retreat Yelk after that. Until that new version is up, we have to keep this Yelk thing in. But I do want to revert my circuit.tsx. And then if I check the log here, I guess I didn't commit anything. That's crazy. I don't know. Maybe it was broken. No elements found for B2 positive. B2 positive is right there. Not sure. B2 positive. Huh. LED left. There's the LED. Oh, it's saying undefined on that. Oh, that's weird. Oh, weird. What if I change it to a diode? Undefined. Hmm. Same for this one. This one is pretty confusing on though, because there's the port right there, and I placed it, and I gave it a name. Transformed schematic elements. Elements.push transform schematic elements. I think what happened, there's just a lot of stuff mixed up here. So built ports is, okay, I think I pushed a bug. So built ports is composed of both source ports and schematic ports, whatever. We want to transform the schematic ports, but we still want the built ports, the other parts of the built ports. So I guess we push transform schematic elements, and then we push build ports except for is not equal schematic port. This is so messy. Okay. Okay, push should be incorporated. Yeah, there we go. So now things are connecting. We still have this bug here, but everything should be connected. The switch, I think I commented out. Let's publish this fix. Okay, so fix, whoops, fix missing source ports in output. I would think that that would have thrown a test, but I'm just not checking my work on tests. Okay, so now we need some connections here. I think we just need this one to 2. So just that one line. Okay, cool. So yeah, now we've got a full circuit. The schematic for the battery should be done. There's a couple other schematics we need to work on, but yeah, you can see the battery is actually the size of the board right now, and the batteries are overlapping. So let's make the board bigger. We're gonna make it a lot bigger actually. Although it's gonna look a little bit like let me think, 1/10 of a meter. It's probably like this big. It's probably fine. I'm just going to be a little bit lazy about the routing, and I'm worried people will think that it's kind of representative of the quality of the tooling. So that's a downside. If you make the board too big, it's going to be like, well, can you make a real PCB, like something actually small? But you also want something big enough to hold up. Like, that's the whole point, is to be able to hold this up and say, hey, you can actually make something with TS circuit. So currently you can't provide a PCB X and Y to the battery. So I think I'll add that in because I think you can provide it to the component. And then PCBY, PCBY. I need to get that GPU. I'm typing slower because of how, like, I don't know. Your brain waits for feedback sometimes. You don't realize it until it's not working. I'm also like, I feel like Copilot is like not going. I could be wrong. Like, maybe it's just me. All right. Let's send this guy to the left. So we'll say, so that's negative 20 millimeters. That's negative 40. So let's say negative 30, negative 30. And then let's move them off each other. So we'll have, I'm going to keep ground towards the bottom of the PCB view just for clarity. So we'll do 20 and negative 20 to separate them. Didn't update. Let's try again. Or maybe maybe it just doesn't work. Totally possible it just doesn't work. Oh no, it works. Okay. And you can see the trace too. So for some reason it's doing, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I think I lined this up wrong though. We want B2 to be on top of B1. Also the traces, for some reason, white, which means it doesn't have a layer. It's supposed to default to the top layer. So, whatever. We'll fix that in a minute. I thought, let's see, B1 positive, B2 negative. Oh, yeah. Okay. We'll flip these. Whoops. Still seems a little bit weird. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I don't know why the trace is requiring a layer, but we can definitely specify the layer explicitly. Let's see if that fixes the color. Oh, can I? Maybe not. Maybe not, definitely. I think the layer is always supposed to be auto-derived, but it's having trouble auto-deriving it probably because of some code I did last week where I solved a coloring problem, and I think I probably forgot about this base case. So that's fine. These 0805 resistors look really small relative to this coin cell battery. Also, I might want to get a little bit more distance because those holders looked pretty big. This is tough without silkscreen. Normally silkscreen would tell you, but we don't have silkscreen yet. Also, it keeps resetting the transform of the view. I don't love that, but got to deal with it for now. Lots and lots of paper cuts. I'm gonna have to speed run this in the future, and hopefully there'll be like many, many less paper cuts. Okay, that looks pretty good. before I do too much with the layout, maybe a quick checkpoint, but before I do too much more, battery holder layouts. So before I do too much more, let's get in the footprint for the 555 timer. I can't remember what its name is. The specific model. Any 5D. Okay, cool. And I think it has a standard footprint. SOP8. Small outline package 8. So that should be easy to add. But let's just check. Let's see if they have the pad dimensions. They don't. So it's going to be the standard pad dimensions. Okay. I think TS Circuit Footprints has the SOP pattern, but I'm not 100% sure. It has small outline as SOIC. I think it should probably explicitly have SOP, but let's see. See if we can recreate it for now. Just to like not let anything stand in the way of shipping this. Okay, so small outline. Pad count is 8. And then we need the SOP8 parameters. So SOP8 standard dimensions. And this looks like it's in millimeters. Good. Okay. Pad length. It's going to be 1. Pad width. 0.5. Body length. That's not a thing. Pad pitch. 1.27. Copilot already knows all this. Row spacing. It's saying 5.5. It divided it by 2, I think. Oh, wait. Row spacing. Pad pitch. Row spacing. Row spacing. I don't know. Let's just look at it. I think these terms are kind of confusing. Yeah, this is definitely not right. So... That looks correct to me. -2 over here to 2. So yeah, that looks like 5.5. There's 4 there. Yeah. Pad pitch. If we zoom in. I really need like a dimension tool. 3. So that's 1. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, it's probably right. A quarter off, yeah, probably. Looks approximately right. All right. Oh, hey, what's going on? Good to see you again. I haven't attempted to say your name yet, but Kvik, maybe? Good to have you. All right, so that is one of our outlines. Your Twitch description says Sorkits. Oh, perfect. I love it. Sorkits. I love it. Wait, does it really? Why does it say that on Twitch? It doesn't. What? Oh. Oh, like in the Twitch description. Oh, yeah. That's probably intentional. That's my crappy sense of humor. But it might not. It might rub off like I wrote it in 5 seconds, which is also probably true. Okay, the last thing we need a footprint for. Look how tiny this is. Everything is so tiny relative to these 2 giant battery holders. This board is basically just battery holders. One of the disappointing things is I can't rotate this to try to get a better fit because I think PCB rotation is a little bit weird right now, so I'm not going to rotate anything. I'm going to keep it all like very whatever it's defined as. But okay, so the switch, let's find out what that guy is. Okay, beautiful. It just says it's SMD, so I think it has a custom footprint. I need to rotate this counterclockwise. Oops. Nope. Okay. So first things first, unit millimeters. Okay. And this is what they recommend for the layout. Okay. Okay, sounds good. I like how this, this is definitely supposed to be some Chinese characters, and it's kind of funny how it like became numbers or whatever. I don't have the font. All right, let's do the switch. So footprint equals small outline again, and we're just gonna feed in those dimensions. So pad count, this one is only 6. We don't need that. I'm gonna close everything so I can focus in. Yeah, this guy, okay. Row spacing. So row spacing I think is the 4.5 one, and then you know what's confusing though is I'm not sure what orientation it is like supposed to be. Glad they're using metric as a European. Yeah, metric is pretty good. You know, in the States you have you have inches and all of that, but you also have this like mil. And mil is pretty good, so we don't use inches. Mil is like 1,000th of an inch, but it's like our millimeter, and it's I gotta say it's a little bit better than millimeter. Just how like pragmatically, like only Americans care about this, but like the smallest size is really like 1. You know what I mean? And then the biggest size, like a 1-inch drill bit, that's gonna be like the biggest you use, and then like a 1 mil drill bit is gonna be the smallest. So it's a lot like Fahrenheit. So it's very convenient. I think this row spacing is actually gonna be I think it's supposed to be center to center. This is like really bad how these are defined. I'm gonna have to change those. But I think it should be center to center, which means I kind of got to do some math. The good news is my favorite program, SolveSpace, is now downloaded. So maybe I can use this to help me do some math. So if I draw it like they did, I got 2 rectangles. I haven't used this in a long time. But let's see if I can remember how to do this. Dimension. I don't know the hotkeys anymore. I need distance. Constrain distance. Bad selection for distance. It's got to be between a point like that. Okay, cool. 4.5. This is also probably in inches, but I'll just pretend it's not. And then between this and, whoops. Oh, I don't know how to un-3D. Maybe this button? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to keep accidentally doing that. And the distance between this and this, we'll say that that's 7.5. Yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. What has Europe done to you, man? What has Europe done to you? Put these ideas into your head. We're going to say these are parallel. Nope. We're going to say these are on the same line. I think I can say this and this are on the same line. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll say this and this are on the same line. Just get that aligned. I'm going to slowly relearn these hotkeys. Okay, cool. So the reason I like these... Oh, this is bad, though. Because it's wrong. Oh. It's like dimensioning it to the wrong line here. And I can't get it to flip. It needs to flip its perspective. All right, we'll deal with it later. This is 2.5. I think if I am able to say that these are equal lengths, that would do it. Doesn't like it. Let's do this. Let's delete this constraint for now. And then... Oh, maybe I did this wrong from the beginning. Nah, I think it's just weird. All right. This to this, 4.5. This to this, 7.5. All right, let's see if it did it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we're in a good place. They don't give us the height of the pad. And it doesn't look right. This is fully constrained. That does not match. Oh, no, this is the distance between. Where's the height of the pad? It says that this is 1. All right, let's delete this. That's the distance between pads. This is 1. But how do I know the width of the pad? Maybe from this? Or the height of the pad? 3.5, 9.1. Europe has done to me what that a Norwegian foot isn't different than a Swedish foot, which isn't different than a French foot. We have 1 foot. It's like a ratio of a meter or something. It's like a foot is like a third of a meter or something like that. I feel like I'm going crazy. Is this fully dimensioned? Yeah, no, this is... Wait. Yeah, no, this is fully... No. Yeah, no, this is fully dimensioned. If I put on a horizontal constraint here, this is now fixed. No, it seems like it's not. When you move it around, if these are symmetric, I think it is. But it wasn't letting me do the symmetric constraint. Doesn't like it. There's probably a way to do it. Oh, this is easy. It doesn't like it though. Oh, constrain equal length. After the metric convention. Okay, I think it's fully constrained now, so I can pull out a reference dimension, and so I know it's 1.5. Wow, that was a little intense. They just wouldn't tell me it was 1.5. Okay, so we know it's going to be 1 and 1.5. Row spacing, pad pitch is 2.5. Okay, let's see if that worked. It's a little hard to read this, so I'm just going to move it. Let's move it like to the right for now. Actually, we'll keep it here. We'll move it up. Negative 20 millimeters. Does that look right? I think the way the diagram is, I have to switch these two. 4.5, 2.5. Oh, that looks way worse. Okay. Why does it look so weird to me, though? Maybe these need to be flipped. 1, 1.5. Does that look right? Hard to say because it's rotated, but I think that's right. Okay. Cool. So that's all the footprints. And we've got some little baby traces starting to make their way across the board. Let's move things out. We have to manually place all of these because there's no way to auto layer right now. So let's start laying them out. I'll close solve space. Thank you very much. Saving me from doing math. Maybe we keep, maybe we move it 10 over. Y, 0. So an unfortunate thing is because I have this battery laid out as an example, it's like doing some double rendering. So I'm just going to delete the battery and save some time on my re-renders. Oh, another thing to fix later. Or at least do in parallel. Let's move it a little more. Okay. This is going to be a really dumb circuit. You've got a mix of small and pretty large components here, but whatever. We need to separate all these guys, so let's start doing that. I kind of want to organize it that very similar to how it is on the schematic, just so that I can keep track of things. So I'm going to do a split view and try to maintain sanity. So the 100K is a little bit below the 555 timer on the left. Yeah, okay. So the 555 timer is at 20 now. So we'll put it at 10. And then we'll put it down slightly at like 5. Math is for nerds. Math is for nerds. I'm a proud nerd, though. We will align that one. Oh, I need auto layout so bad. Okay. Traces are coming in as we lay it out, so we shouldn't have to make any routes. Traces are really thin relative to the space that we have available on the board, but I'm gonna keep it like that and see what happens. It could be bad because it's a pretty thin trace, but yeah, but you know, it's a blinking LED, so I feel like it'll be fine. This is a pretty small trace, but we're just blinking an LED. I think it'll be all right. R3 is on the right side, so we'll do PCBX equals 50, and then PCBY. It looks like it's kind of low, so we'll do 20. Feel like it didn't update. Okay, that's way too far, so 30 maybe. Oh my gosh, this double render thing is gonna murder me. I think I know why. I think there's a loader or something that's supposed to come up, but the loader's not working, so it's doing this double update and not giving me anything to know that it's still loading. Okay, then the LED. Oh, I didn't pick an LED yet. I just realized, but it should be really easy to find an LED that matches those parameters. PCBY, say that's 0. Okay, now things are starting to get a little complicated, and we can see that because the traces don't currently use traces as an obstacle, we have overlapping traces that are going to cause issues. So we'll fix those in a minute using route hints. Also, for some reason, these are white. These don't go to the top layer. I think the SMT pad maybe needs an explicitly a layer defined or something like that. It's very weird that those traces don't have a layer. So many bugs. It's a miracle this works at all. But like, you know, none of this software existed. You know, most of this didn't exist a month ago. Like, so it's like nobody is building circuit stuff with React or TypeScript or anything like that right now. So there's zero libraries or anything that could be stable for you to like trust or build a foundation on. There's just nothing available. So let's set a layer on this SMT pad. Can we do it there? Maybe that'll fix it. So I'm expecting those white lines to turn red. If that works. Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Okay, we're getting there. Is there anything we didn't place? We just need to move C1 a little bit closer to its schematic position and we're good. So PCBX, third, I don't know. What is this? 10? 10. PCBY, say it's 15. It's a little low. Come on. Okay. Seems pretty good to me. Okay. Lots of traces to fix. There's like a mess right here that I don't like. So this is C1 right, which is this guy. And yeah, a lot of things connect to here because they need a ground. So one thing I could do for simplicity is just keep ground traces on the bottom layer. Pretty sure this could be a 1-layer board. This guy also has a couple traces. It looks like it's trying to get to the threshold up here. And then there's a little bit of unfortunate interaction for no reason. So one way I could solve this is I could just add some hinting and try to keep this board 1 layer just for fun. Although I don't know what this is. Wait a second, this looks wrong. Hold on. port 2, port 3. Oh, this is organized incorrectly. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that this will not make these two no matter how you turn the switch, these will never make contact. So that's not good. It should be connected to this side. So that's an issue with how the pads map to the small outline. So I gotta flip it. I have to like effectively rotate it because otherwise it won't work. Shoot. U1, and then we should have S1, small outline. Okay. Boy, it's gonna be a little weird. Let's keep the old one. Duplicate. What I'm gonna do is try to flip everything and see if that gives it like effectively a rotation. It didn't. I guess there's no way for me to... It's like the pads aren't organized properly. It should go 1, 2, 3. It shouldn't... I think it might be a bug in how the footprint... I wonder if this is true for all of the footprints. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, either I'm using the footprint thing really wrong. Pad count 6. Yeah, I don't, that's not right. It should go 1, 2, 3, 4. More fixes. More deep fixes. I gotta shut the other TSCI dev because we're gonna do TSCI dev on this one too. Ooh, module not found. I need to install. Okay, so this should slowly have access to our circuits eventually. And then let's look at SOIC. 1, 3. Yeah, it's just wrong. Oh man. Oi. Small outline. That's unfortunate because I think this method is reused in a couple places, but should definitely be counterclockwise. I think it should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should actually, like, it's just a counterclockwise rotation. So pin numbers. Just doing a quick confirmation. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I feel bad throwing out this function, but this function is totally wrong. Okay, so let's add a comment. Maybe Copilot can help us out. Get the X and Y coordinates of the pad at index I, where I is the top left corner, and we go counterclockwise from there. E.g. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if it's gonna understand that comment, but we'll find out. PP, what is PP here? Pad pitch, okay. Row spacing. I feel like row spacing is a really, really bad term, but I guess I kind of get it, because this is like a row of pins and this is a row of pins. Okay. It's not going to give me the algorithm. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. I want it. It's a really easy algorithm, but I don't want to. So, give a TypeScript function that takes I number and returns the x/y given counterclockwise. Let's say it takes x, y, and num. You kind of got to know it's a square too. Since this only has 2 rows, I feel like it's pretty, like you could write a very, very explicit algorithm. So if I is less than 4, you return this. Although, shouldn't it be... Wonder why it returns x equals 0 for the first one. Just questioning everything. I think it should be negative row spacing divided by 2 if it's less than 4. And then this one is the pad pitch times I minus h divided by 2. I think that's right. And then instead of 4 here, it's going to be the row count. Or, sorry, the pad, or no, the pad count divided by 2, which should be 4 if you have 8 pads. And then otherwise, it's that. Yeah, pad count. Yes. That's right. Okay, so I think that should fix it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. This is like very opaque, but yeah, that's it. There's a bunch of things that I think are probably going to be messed up that have the wrong XY function. Like pin row. Ooh, what happened there? Dual inline. Ooh, Oh my gosh. Everything's broken. This one's not broken. Okay. As long as I don't hover, this one seems to work. As soon as you hover, it breaks. I wonder why. Dual inline package 1. Oh, it's because it has no port labels, maybe. And has really bad handling if there isn't a port label. That's a problem for another day, I think. Because normally you would have port labels. I can't think of a super easy way to fix that. Maybe like this, which should be the default. Oh boy. Just do them all. Oh my gosh. Add up to 24. Thank you. Okay. My guess is that'll fix it. Nope. Let's try again though. Never trust the first render. I have no idea. It's not great though. Okay. Cool. All right, one thing at a time. So let's push this up. I have to remove bun.lockb because apparently we don't use bun for this one. Okay, so fix small outline numbers pads correctly. And then this thing doesn't auto-publish, so we also have to publish a new version. Build and npm publish. Cool. Nice. Okay, cool. So that fixes the bug with pin numbering, which should fix all of our blinking circuit LED problems. Let's see if we can add it. So TS circuit slash footprint, new version is 0017. Whoa, what's going on here? Maybe bun issue. Not found. Oh, it's footprints. There we go. All right. Okay, yeah, these are now correctly numbered, which means this one is also now correctly numbered. Great. Whew. Okay, so fixing these traces, exporting Gerbers, and we're good to go. If assuming the bill of materials works. Oh, I do have to add the supplier numbers. This one already has the supplier number, but everything needs a supplier number, resistors, all that. So, but that should be pretty easy to do. And eventually those will be auto-derived for simple passives. These traces suck in a couple places. So this one between C1 port right and port 6, which I'm not sure what port 6 is. Threshold. That's a pretty bad route. We could have that one give us a little bit more space. So let's look for that guy. Oh, there's already some. This might have been messing it up, so let's remove that. Oh, those are schematic route hints, sorry. So we need PCB route hints. And let's just say you have to go through this point, 20 millimeter, 6 millimeter. So 26. Oh, wrong pad, I guess. Sorry. That's C1 right. We have another. There's going to be another C1 right. U1 ground. Was that it? Port 6. Wait a second. Port 6 goes to threshold, not ground. This, maybe I'm getting confused because of this little section here. Maybe these things aren't connected. What does threshold connect to? It's the C1 left. Yeah, so I guess they do a little swap here, and I got confused. This one is going to be difficult to route, I think, no matter what, the ground here. So I think this is a good candidate to just get out of the way with a ground via. So if we look for ground, U1 ground to C1 right. So we should be able to do PCB route hints. Let's put the via here, via 14, -2, via true. It might complain a little bit. Starting layers is not iteratable. I do remember there was maybe a possible bug if you don't exit the via. So let's make sure we do that. This seems totally unrelated. It might just be with starting layers is not iteratable. Find trace layer, find possible trace layer combinations. This is a function I introduced very, very recently. Merge routes. Starting layers is not iteratable. Hint 0.layers. So confusingly, it's the hint 0 should not be this. It's actually the pad itself, which should have a layer. It should be the top layer. Kind of want to just log the hints here. The problem when you log inside this builder, I'm now realizing, is that because the way everything is set up right now, it tends to break a lot of stuff because the std out is parsed. Okay, one thing to look at. Oh, nice, that error dialog just is over everything. Oh, that's a CLI bug. Oh, man. It's just an endless stream of bugs to get anything done. All right, so show the error if it's there, and view mode is not soup. I think that's fair. Don't hide soup with error. Okay. Oh, I have to build. Failed to render soup. Don't give me that. Everything's erroring out. Oh, come on. I guess that makes sense. Like, we're not getting any output anymore because it's erroring in the middle. starting layers is not iteratable. Find possible trace layer combinations. Yeah, it's difficult to know without knowing what this hint is. I think we have to log the hints, which is going to break other stuff, but let's see if we can do it. I'm going to turn on, or let's see if this works. So because I stopped that process in the middle of the compilation, we still have the temporary entry point file, which we can run directly. It's my little hack. Undefined is not an object. Okay. I forgot that I need to actually push this somewhere. So yelk push. And then here, yelk add. And maybe it works. Yeah, PCB port doesn't have a layer. This one has layers. For some reason, this one does not have a layer. Interesting. Why would this not have a layer? Why do PCB ports even have layers? I'm guessing it's one of these builders. Let's see, where's that layer set? Port builder. Okay, this doesn't do anything. Ports builder. Definitely doesn't start with a layer. So the layer is added probably in the component builder. Just kind of going up through the hierarchy here. It's very difficult to keep track of all of it. Somewhere layers are getting set. Or not. Footprint layer. Footprint builder? I feel like it should get a layer right here. Match PCB ports with footprint, and this could be a good place too. As soon as you've matched a PCB port with its footprint, you should mutate it. Oh yeah, that's what we do. If layers in footprint element, then we set it equal. So I guess what's happening is the footprint for whatever port is being built doesn't have layers defined. Which I guess is, I don't know. Okay. So it's either U1 or C1. Let me do a yelk retreat. Yeah. I don't want any funny business. I just want the clean vanilla stuff installed. And then This is a different issue. Hmm. Can't get it back to a working state. Hmm. I think I solved this problem somewhere else. All right. Routing. Very tricky, apparently. I have to take a quick meeting. And so I'm going to turn off the stream, hopefully come online a little bit later. Today is very spotty, but hopefully. And tomorrow GPU, which hopefully will make me be able to type faster. That's the goal. So whip currently broken. Routing errors and layers errors. Just hitting all the bugs that people would hit if they tried to build stuff with this, but that's the idea.